Bowsy exposed, explosive secrets from the CCP's third plenary session. Who, when, Wang and Zhang in secret emergency talks as Chen Jining reaches out to Zhang Yuxia. In National Mourning Day in Beijing under tight security, officials celebrate while the people complain bitterly. Beijing sees solar halo on October 1st, a chilling omen of regime collapse. Guangdong reports first case of diamond blood 100 times, rarer than panda blood. Welcome aboard today's episode of Decoding China, your trusted source for essential insights and timely analysis. Hunt for Zibowsy exposed, explosive secrets from the CCP's third plenary session. After weeks of rumors and speculation about power struggles inside the Chinese Communist Party, new signs suggest that Xi Jinping may already have lost real authority. Analysts point to subtle but telling moments in state media, unusual military movements near Beijing, and whispers of a dramatic confrontation inside Zhongnanhai. Together, these incidents reveal not only Xi's precarious position, but also the deep crisis of legitimacy facing the CCP itself. Even the smallest disturbance now unleashes a storm of public opinion, showing just how fragile the regime has become. It began on September 28, 2025, when a netizen posted a video claiming that a convoy of nearly 100 military vehicles was spotted heading toward Beijing from Baoding along the Beijing-Hong Kong-Macau Expressway. The footage quickly went viral, sparking feverish speculation on social media. Some argued that if true, it was more shocking than the infamous Ferrari scandal of years past. Others interpreted the convoy as evidence of an extraordinary event unfolding at the top of Chinese politics. A few took it further, predicting a Beijing Spring and calling for Xi's arrest. Still, skeptics countered that it might simply be a rehearsal for the National Day parade. Commentator Wang Duruo later clarified that the video showed fewer than 10 vehicles. Yet the online frenzy revealed something more important than the convoy itself. The public's readiness to believe Xi's downfall is imminent. The widespread anticipation of a political shakeup underscored the regime's unstable foundations, and the growing perception that Xi's grip on power is weakening. This unease deepened during Xi's trip to Xinjiang, where state media images showed two top officials, Wang Huning and Kai Qi, standing with their hands behind their backs in Xi's presence. This posture, normally reserved for senior leaders, is considered disrespectful when used before a superior. Wang even appeared to wave and speak to Xi as if addressing an underling. Such gestures, captured by official cameras, were widely interpreted as signals that Xi's authority has diminished and that he may now be little more than a figurehead. Behind these symbolic acts lies a story of direct confrontation. Insider accounts claim that during the CCP's third plenary session, Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission, Zhang Yuxia, backed by senior generals from the Western Theater Command, led a soft coup against Xi. The generals, enraged by Qi's alleged misappropriation of massive military funds, traveled to Beijing under a pretense, then stormed Zhongnanhai to challenge Xi directly. Xi initially promised to resolve the matter, but soon placed Liu Yuan, an influential general suspected of organizing the challenge, under house arrest. The standoff escalated when the generals sought support from former leaders Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao. Hu reportedly returned to Beijing with 2,000 elite troops and, alongside Zhang Yuxia, forced their way into Zhongnanhai, overpowering Xi's loyalists and subduing Kai Qi. In the dramatic confrontation, Zhang openly rebuked Xi, accusing him of acting like an emperor and destroying the people's livelihoods. In the aftermath, senior leaders and military officials allegedly agreed that Xi would remain in place as a ceremonial leader, but be stripped of actual power. Since late 2024, this arrangement has been visible in state media coverage. Xi's appearances have sharply declined, while Zhang Yuxia has risen to prominence. Meanwhile, Xi's allies have fallen one by one. In November 2024, Miao Hua, head of the military's political work department, was investigated for serious violations. In March 2025, Vice Chairman He Weidong disappeared after the National People's Congress, reportedly under investigation. Both were central pillars of Xi's military control and their downfall has left him isolated. For many observers, these developments confirm what has long been whispered. Xi Jinping's era is ending. Yet the deeper question remains unresolved. If Xi is sidelined but the CCP endures, has anything truly changed? Some netizens argue that resisting Xi without dismantling the party is meaningless. Others point to prophecy, suggesting Xi will be the last CCP leader, doomed to fall alongside the regime itself. This perspective highlights a broader belief. The CCP's survival is not in its own hands. Its collapse, some argue, will not be the result of human maneuvering, but of divine will. The reason it has not yet fallen, despite its decline, is not strength, but mercy, a reprieve allowing more Chinese people to renounce their ties to the party before judgment arrives. And supporters of this view urge Chinese citizens to make the 3 withdrawals, formally cutting ties with the party, the Communist Youth League, and the Young Pioneers. They argue this step is not about politics, but about salvation. When the CCP falls, those who remain bound to it will be dragged down with it. To them, rejecting the CCP is a way to ensure safety for oneself and one's family when the final reckoning comes. Who, when, Wang and Zhang in secret emergency talks as Chen Jining reaches out to Zhang Yuxia. As the 4th plenary session draws near, the balance of power within the Chinese Communist Party is showing visible cracks. For the first time since Xi Jinping consolidated dominance at the 20th Party Congress, reports suggest that some of his own rising stars may be quietly defecting. A dramatic leak now claims that Shanghai Party Secretary Chen Jining, long considered one of Xi's trusted future successors, has reached out in secret to Zhang Yuxia, the military heavyweight aligned with the anti-Xi camp. If true, this would mark a critical turning point, signaling that loyalty to Xi among the younger elite is wavering, and that China's next major leadership struggle is already unfolding. The revelation surfaced through commentator Xiao Shuojia, who said he had received a tip that Chen Jining dispatched a personal envoy to meet Zhang Yuxia in September. This clandestine contact is politically explosive. Until now, Qin was ranked just behind Ding Xuexiang in Xi's inner circle, and positioned above Yuan Jiajun as a potential successor. Zhang Yuxia, by contrast, stands as one of the most powerful figures resisting Xi's grip. Their sudden line of communication suggests not only a tactical alliance in the making, but also a sign that the once solid Xi camp is beginning to fracture. In Xiao Shuojia's words, the defection of even one such insider could mean a significant development is imminent. Behind Chen's move lies a calculated survival strategy. Within Xi Jinping's faction, his support base is lukewarm. While seen as a loyalist on paper, Chen lacks the ability to command full backing from Xi's diehards, leaving him little chance of rising without external support. His disillusionment is also rooted in policy. Having studied and worked abroad, Chen has witnessed both China's tightening authoritarianism and the global value of democratic governance. Sources suggest he has grown frustrated with Xi's regressive course, leading him to test the waters with the anti-Xi faction. By approaching Zhang Yuxia, Chen may be hedging his future, securing an alternative path should Xi's power falter. Yet the leak itself must be read cautiously. Xiao Shuojia admits the information cannot be verified with absolute certainty. What matters more, however, is the context it reflects. Deep anxiety within the party elite. First, Xi's dominance is no longer unquestioned. The aura of absolute control displayed at the 20th Party Congress has weakened as political and economic pressures mount. Second, succession battles are intensifying. Xi's faction now has multiple contenders: Ding Xuexiang, Chen Jining, Yuan Jiajun, and Premier Li Qiang, creating internal rivalries instead of unity. Third, and perhaps most decisive, the military looms as kingmaker. With Zhang Yuxia commanding immense influence, any outreach to him signals where the true leverage lies. Chen's secret envoy, whether real or rumored, underscores the recognition that military backings will decide who holds power in Beijing. Complicating matters further, other heavyweight leaders are reportedly regrouping. A separate leak claims that Hu Jintao, Wen Jiabao, Wang Yang, and Zhang Yuxia held an urgent meeting to discuss how to counter potential threats posed by Xi's loyalists in the next 20 days. Such a gathering, if confirmed, would illustrate that the anti-Xi forces are preparing for a showdown timed precisely with the upcoming fourth plenary session. Their immediate goal would be to safeguard Beijing's security and stability. But the larger objective is clear: weaken Xi's grip and set the stage for leadership renewal. All eyes are now on the fourth plenary session, which could become a decisive battlefield. If the anti-Xi faction succeeds in asserting influence, figures like Chen Jining may not only escape political isolation, but even rise further, potentially into the Politburo Standing Committee, the very core of power in China. That would mark a stunning reversal of fortune, transforming a man once branded as Xi's loyal successor into a pivotal agent of reform. Whether rumor or reality, the mere possibility reflects how fragile Xi's hold has become. In a system built on loyalty, secrecy, and factional maneuvering, the cracks are widening and the countdown to confrontation has already begun. In National Mourning Day in Beijing under tight security, officials celebrate while the people complain bitterly. October 1st, 2025 was presented by the Chinese Communist Party as its National Day, but for many it was instead the 76th National Mourning Day. The contrast between official displays of grandeur and the harsh realities faced by ordinary people was striking. While the authorities staged tightly controlled celebrations, the atmosphere on the streets of Beijing and across the country revealed deep anxiety, repression, and widespread discontent. What was meant to be a day of pride appeared instead as a day of fear, frustration, and defiance. Reports from Beijing showed the extent of security paranoia. Chang'an Avenue, the symbolic heart of the capital, was sealed off under heavy police presence. Video footage circulated online revealed a deserted avenue where vehicles were banned, subway stations bypassed, and officers stationed every few meters. By dawn, the area resembled a locked-down military zone rather than a site of national celebration. One observer remarked bitterly that the CCP fears its own anniversaries most, haunted by the weight of its past crimes. This sense of unease extended into acts of silent resistance. In one viral video, a man in mainland China was seen tearing down red flags from a bridge, throwing them aside in open anger at the regime. The gesture reflected a growing sentiment among citizens who see little to celebrate. Despite official claims of national strength and unity, ordinary people continue to face unemployment, shuttered businesses, and crushing financial stress. Inside the Great Hall of the People, the CCP staged its usual reception on September 30th. State media described a glittering banquet hall filled with nearly 800 guests and emphasized the presence of Xi Jinping, who delivered yet another important speech. But viewers noticed something else: senior leaders looking grim, detached, even hostile toward one another. Their faces betrayed unease, with some rolling their eyes, others scowling, and a few appearing exhausted. Netizens described the regime as a lamp running out of oil, its power decaying even as it clings to pomp and ceremony. Meanwhile, away from the spotlight, the struggles of ordinary citizens painted a bleaker picture. In Fuzhou, a job seeker named Mr. Kai confessed that while state media trumpeted unity and rejuvenation, his immediate concern was finding employment after the holiday. Factories reported losses, restaurants lacked customers, and many of his friends remained idle at home. Similarly, in Wenzhou, Mr. Liu, once a factory technician, spoke of sending out over 100 resumes in 6 months with almost no success. Even when interviews came, the salaries offered were worse than what he earned a decade earlier. His quiet wish was not for grand slogans, but for a stable job to ease his family's burden. In Chongqing, small business owners echoed the same despair. Old Joe, who runs a modest restaurant, admitted that the National Day holiday had brought no revival. Customers were scarce, expenses unbearable, and even his Social Security payments impossible to cover. He said, "It's not that I don't want to pay. I simply don't have the money. I can barely afford rent, let alone talk about dreams." Outside China, the day carried a very different meaning. In Los Angeles, anti-CCP activists staged demonstrations outside the consulate, declaring October 1st, not as a day of pride, but as a day of tragedy. They carried banners reading, "End CCP tyranny," and chanted demands for freedom, democracy, and human rights. Leaders of the protest described the CCP's 76 years in power as nothing but a catastrophe for both China and the world, citing persecution, censorship, and even live organ harvesting as evidence of crimes against humanity. The events of October 1st laid bare a stark truth. While the CCP tries to project strength with flags and fanfare, what resonates more powerfully is the disillusionment, anger, and resistance of the people it rules. For many, the day was not a celebration of national unity, but a reminder of a regime that clings to power through fear, leaving its citizens struggling to survive and its critics determined to see it fall. Beijing sees solar halo on October 1st, a chilling omen of regime collapse. On October 1st, 2025, the 76th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Communist regime, Beijing's skies delivered an eerie spectacle, a massive solar halo, an ancient omen long associated with dynastic collapse. The phenomenon, with its rainbow-colored ring circling the sun, was captured by countless Beijing residents and even reported by state media outlets. Its timing, falling exactly on National Day, has stirred both fascination and unease. This was not an isolated event. In the days leading up to the anniversary, Beijing has been repeatedly marked by rare and unsettling celestial anomalies. On September 22nd, the city witnessed a partial solar eclipse, a striking astronomical occurrence. 2 days earlier, on September 20th, another solar halo appeared, with citizens filming the site at places like Changying Sports Park and the Yuanming Yuan, also known as the Old Summer Palace. Even more extraordinary, on September 17th, Beijing experienced both a parhelion and a solar halo at the same time, creating the illusion of two suns shining in the sky. In Chinese tradition, such phenomena were never taken lightly. The belief in heaven and man in harmony held that celestial disturbances reflected turmoil on Earth. A solar halo, sometimes called a white rainbow, was often seen as a warning of rebellion or dynastic upheaval. A parhelion, the vision of multiple suns, symbolized political division and instability. A solar eclipse, referred to as the sun being devoured, carried an even graver message. The sun, symbolizing virtue and authority, darkened as a warning that rulers had lost their moral standing. Tang Dynasty astronomer Li Chunfeng once wrote that, "A solar eclipse inevitably brings disaster, such as the death of a ruler or the fall of a state. These signs have only deepened speculation about the fate of Xi Jinping. The year 2025 is the Yi-Si snake year, Qi's zodiac year, and according to Chinese astrology, he is in direct conflict with Tai Sui, the Grand Duke Jupiter, a condition believed to attract misfortune. Against this backdrop, Yi's recent public appearances have fueled rumors about his declining health. Just before the September 3rd military parade in Beijing, Xi attended the SCO summit in Tianjin. Images from the event showed his complexion appearing strikingly dark, igniting widespread speculation. US-based commentator Chen Pokong noted that such sudden darkening could signal serious health conditions, including liver or pancreatic disease. This observation aligned with year-long rumors about Xi's deteriorating health. Signs of decline were also noted during Xi's August trip to Tibet. Observers remarked on his abnormally dark complexion, which appeared even worse upon his return to Beijing. An insider later revealed to the Epoch Times that Xi looked exhausted upon arrival in Lhasa, appearing so weak that he remained motionless for about 20 minutes after stepping off the plane to adjust to the thin air. His movements were slow and unsteady, favoring his left leg, dragging his right, and taking shortened, shaky steps. With rare celestial warnings unfolding in the skies above Beijing and visible signs of frailty in its top leader, many see these events as eerily intertwined, echoing ancient beliefs that the heavens themselves pass judgment on rulers and regimes. Guangdong reports, first case of diamond blood, 100 times, rarer than panda blood. The first ever case of the world's rarest blood type, known as diamond blood, has just been discovered in Shunde, Guangdong, and it is more than 100 times rarer than the already scarce panda blood. This groundbreaking discovery has shocked both the medical community and the public, instantly sparking widespread discussion online. The rare blood type, scientifically identified as JKABA, was recently detected by the testing department of the Foshan Shunde Central Blood Station. Experts revealed that the chance of finding this blood type in the Chinese population is as low as 0.02% to 0.02%, compared with 0.2%, 0.5% for panda blood. In other words, its rarity is extreme, and until now, there had been no record of it in Shunde. Medically, diamond blood belongs to the kid blood group system and is the result of a genetic mutation. It is not an illness, nor does it harm overall health. What makes it extraordinary, and potentially dangerous, is that people with this blood type face enormous difficulties if they ever need a transfusion. Because so few individuals carry it, finding a compatible donor can be nearly impossible. The risks are even greater for women during pregnancy. If a mother with diamond blood carries a fetus that inherits the father's JK antigen, her body may produce anti-JK3 antibodies. These antibodies can cross the placenta and attack the fetus's red blood cells, leading to hemolytic disease of the newborn. In severe cases, this can cause anemia, jaundice, or even threaten the baby's life. The news quickly climbed trending search charts across China. Online reactions captured both fear and concern. One netizen bluntly remarked, "Rare blood types only bring disadvantages, no benefits. If something happens, no one can save you." Another added a cautious note. "This person must be extremely careful. With blood this rare, an accident could mean there's no transfusion available. It would be wise to donate and store some of their own blood for future emergencies. Still, I hope they live a safe and healthy life." Value your perspective. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. If you found this video informative, we encourage you to share it with others. Your support helps us continue delivering compelling, fact-based reporting. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth coverage from